Okay, hey, thanks Mikko. Hi everyone, it's good to be here. I'm actually a mentor on the Kipinä program as well, so I'm often working out of here. My name's Pat and I'm co-founder of Fjord Qudra. We are a Norwegian-British company. That's my co-founder, Clint. He's a Norwegian, he's based in London. I'm Brit, based in Finland, so I don't understand the logic of our organization structure. I have a couple of microphones here. Should I turn the microphone on the Teams as well? Yeah, in case. What I'd like to do is just talk to you about some of the things that we use, some of the capabilities and tools that we use with clients to unlock extra capacity for them, but also for us to scale and grow the business.
Closer to the mic if you
Sorry, yeah. Okay. So on the left-hand side, this is where we're working for investors, private equity or VC, looking for scouting for new companies, new investments. So we're basically using a lot of external data. We analyze a lot of exhaust from different companies out there and also use a lot of research to find patterns and niches and things like that. Sorry, I gotta get even closer. Yeah, okay. And then on the right-hand side, that's where we're actually working for clients or for investors on their existing portfolio. So we have access to actually the customer's information and as well as the external data. So you can obviously do, different things.
You might be able to hold the mic in your hand as well.
I can do that as well, yeah. And go karaoke. Is that better? All right. Okay, so that's kind of how we work at a very high level. At the same time, we're also launching in a couple of weeks this SME to the Power of AI platform. So it's a global online community for SMEs. And the idea is that we're going to be running courses and holding live events and sharing lots of new playbooks and things like that. So the SME can pay an annual subscription and, then actually join a bigger global community and learn about how everyone else is using AI. So that's just my advertisement. What's really interesting is this picture. I actually made it last year, but it's still kind of relevant. So on the left-hand side, we have on the R&D research side, whether you're in a university or you're doing R&D in a company, we have this acceleration of AI in terms of AI scientists, discovery, acceleration of and increasing the capacity of the budgets of doing all of the R&D. Soon we're going to get a lot more of this, I think, simulation and world engines and things like that. So it's going to get really exciting there. And then on the other side, we have the business use cases. So the capabilities that we often have in our day-to-day use of all of these tools like Claude or Grok or ChatGPT or Gemini or open source software. So basically, constantly we have this continuous ability to collapse or compress time and cost and do more things within our existing budgets. So it's like, if you remember in the old days of 2023 or 2022, where you had an annual budget and you had to kind of, plan, a year or two ahead. Now what you have is a very dynamic budgetary situation because you're constantly discovering new ways to do things faster and do new things as well that we never thought about. And the other thing is we have this thing around vectors in terms of direction and speed and impact of new capabilities and how they're impacting both research, R&D side, and also different industries and different functions and workflows within the industry. So how does it affect, how do these tools get absorbed by legal, by sales and marketing, by board activities, by finance, by sales, and I said sales, by distribution and manufacturing. So all of understanding the direction, the vectors, the speed, direction, and impact of all of these things is really something that we focus on. And of course, there are probably some power users of different AI tools in this room and online. But even so, we're all still only scratching the surface of the true capabilities under there because we're usually slicing it in terms of our own use case or industry or function or whatever. But even so, underneath there's still massive capabilities and they're improving all of the time. And I've been hearing noises. Some of you have been hearing the same noises maybe from Google, from OpenAI, from Anthropic about how in a year's time we'll have 10x the capabilities that we have now, which is kind of crazy. And it's like, well, how do you start imagining what I can do with that kind of capability? And a lot of it is actually discovering what other people are doing. So the pressure is not on us. The pressure is to keep our eyes open and see how other people are actually using these kind of tools. But then, and we have this range of uses as well. So you have at the top, you have these big finance organizations like JP Morgan and Norwegian Sovereign Wealth Fund, what are they called? MBIM, the oil fund. And they are making tens of billions of euros or dollars every year by exploiting all of these AI capabilities and giving it to all of their employees. And I saw a podcast with Christian Tangen, I think his name is, and he was talking about 200,000 hours of extra capacity or savings that they discovered, and how that has accelerated all of their ability to yield even more profits from their various investments around the world. So if they're and obviously they have supercharged models, but they're basically using Claude, and we have access to all of these capabilities as well. Of course, different levels of capability, but for us as entrepreneurs or researchers or people who are running SMEs or whatever, it's still an incredible kind of set of capabilities that we have access to. And then the question is like, how do we make sense of them? About a year and a half ago, I was running a team of 50 people in Espoo, in a company called Spinverse, and we were basically building partnerships for R&D funding between corporates and SMEs and research and startups in Europe. And my week would be start off with a sales meeting Monday morning, and then I would be into kind of negotiations with clients or legal or working with finance or operations and solving problems with suppliers and partnerships, all this kind of thing throughout the week. And the capabilities, if I was still doing that job now, the capabilities I would have would be incredible. And instead of having 50 people, I would have effectively 300 people. And when you start thinking about actually what you can do with all of these tools across your different workflows or functions, and how those functions and workflows are actually going to change, things start getting really interesting. And it also changes the equation of funding and finance. So for example, if you had 50 people, if you have 50 people now, and you can increase the capacity of all of those people, doing 5 times more things, then all of us, maybe you don't need external funding, maybe you don't need to take on extra debt from private equity or whatever. So all of a sudden you start having some very, very interesting scenario planning discussions about creating new businesses within your existing business. And I'll make these slides available as well. I'll send them to Mikko so he can distribute them as well. So the other thing is like our assumptions about what we can do within our business, within our organization, they're constantly changing. If you go back a year, if you go back 2 years, or before November of 2022 when ChatGPT came out, the way we were kind of doing things and thinking about things was quite different. Well, I started playing with GPT-3 in the summer of 2020. We got on the beta version of that. And then we could see that it was going to be very interesting, but we had to wait still 2.5 years before we actually got our hands on anything. But now the pace and the rate is kind of incredible. And the only way to keep up with it is really YouTube for me. So I'm just, every morning I spend half an hour just going through the various channels, the AI channels, where there are, young people, a lot younger than me, who are actually sharing ideas within 5 hours of a new release of how to do something. And they're so good at creating these videos that you can immediately pick that up and then go and apply it in your own business during the same day. So that's kind of how I stay on top of these things. But what we can do is not just do things faster and better, we can also use that extra time, that extra capacity to drive new discoveries as well, whether it's research or whether it's some new business model or exploring a new partnership with someone else. So this is kind of incredible. And yeah, of course, we're on this exponential curve. The question is, can we convert this extra capacity into extra revenue or extra profit? Or if we're in a public organization, better public services, for example, or improved, teaching or research or whatever. So that's the trick, and that's the trick for leaders, is converting all of this new capacity into something valuable to the organization and the customers who pay for it. I want to actually get a bit hands-on and give. Does anyone have any questions or points about that? Yes, sir.
You asked me to ask tricky questions.
No, I said ask me a shitty question.
But there's a business opportunity to do something much more. But
Yeah.
it's also opposite side. It takes away a lot of our businesses.
Yeah.
It will be a disaster to most of the businesses, but some of those can rise.
Yes, and that's a fair point, and especially on the digital services side, which is kind of ironic because we've been going through this whole digitization thing, but now it's a lot easier for people to spin up new ideas on that, and that's going to accelerate even more. But the other advantage that you have is that you can actually use these AI tools to ask them advice about, hey, what could I do now? I have this existing business, we are here, we have these customers, this is my website, these are my customer websites, put all of those into ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or Grok, and then just start having a conversation with it. And I guarantee it will find new, interesting, it won't give you the answer, but it will stimulate your brain. And then you can get the team together and you can start maybe testing ideas and actually use that as a way to kind of gradually scale from your current business, where you've probably got customer contracts in place, and gradually start developing that new service with AI capabilities, which are very cheap, and then gradually start finding new customers in a new space, so you don't cannibalize your existing business. So use the AI. The AI is going to disrupt you, but use it to find something else. Yeah. Yeah, Mari.
So I was excited to hear that you have this morning routine that every day you go through the latest AI news and trends.
Yes.
Do you have any influencer or anybody or channel that you follow?
Yeah, I have a bunch of channels, and I will share those with Mikko, and he will distribute them after.
Excellent.
But I'll also show you a demo in a minute of what I do there.
Thanks.
Good question. There's about 20 actually, but I'll show you how I stay on top of that as well. Okay.
Can I add something?
Yes, please.
For your
Anu.
question. I think it's smart to be proactive with that. In my field, sorry, a very little thingy. I'm a business coach and an entrepreneur, and I coach organizations and use these kind of therapeutic tools. Discussion is my work method. And on my field, I think people were quite proactive when the AI started coming on a high level, and we got a little scared about this is going to take our jobs and our clients. And me and my competitors, we were proactive, and we were thinking that how are we better than AI? I mean, AI is going to come and take something away from us, and it's going to do something better than us. But what is it in us, in humans, in human coaches, that we actually do better, and we have to build on that and use AI with us and cooperate with it. But it's this necessary disruption, creative disruption that we need to renew business and proactivity.
Yeah. Proactivity, that's the key word, I think.
Sorry, I couldn't.
Let's
know how to use it.
Did you want to say something? Someone else? No. Okay, let's jump into some examples now. So is there anyone here in media or marketing? Yes, sir. Oh yeah, definitely you, yeah. But many of us probably using, media or marketing generation or creating websites or things like that. So that's one of the most interesting areas, because we now have so much capability in our own pockets and hands. So some of you may be already using a lot of this, but has anyone started playing with the video capabilities in, say, VO3 and Gemini? Yeah? 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 I mean, it's pretty fantastic, and you know, just as a quick example, and I think it's free as well now. I'm actually using this through a US VPN because I couldn't access it through Europe for some reason. But this is just an example from a simple prompt at the bottom, and of course you can have much more specific prompts. And I use these guys as a guinea pig here. So check this out. I think the sound is on here as well. So let's see what happens. And I apologize I didn't get the logo right, but the detail is incredible if you think about it. And so, you know, a year ago maybe, that would have probably cost you 20,000 euros to actually construct. So, and of course you can only get, like at the moment, maybe 8 or 10 seconds, depending on, you know, where you go, but you can already start storyboarding and cutting them together in Canva and doing all kinds of interesting things. And of course it will get longer as the capability improves. So in terms of how we can visually tell stories about what we do, it's like incredible. And this is included also, I think it's in the Gemini 20 euro a month plan, but it might be free soon as well, because I know the image generation one is. So that's, you know, a massive capacity increase capability in terms of what we want to do. Here's another one. Oops. Here's another one. So I got Jack Russells. I'm a Jack Russell guy, and what I did was I uploaded a picture of my kayak, and then I just asked it to, you know, put a Jack Russell in, and so this is what happened. I'll play that again just for fun. So it's incredible what it actually does to the physics. It understands the physics of the kayak and the water and all this kind of stuff. So, and of course I could have put a picture of my own Jack Russell in and all this kind of stuff. But again, you know, these are just fantastic capabilities in our pocket, and you imagine what that does to the budgets of your business in terms of you know, scaling your messaging as well. Of course, it is a challenge for anyone in the marketing industry. Are you running a marketing business, or?
I'm a freelancer.
You're a freelancer, so that means that you can take these capabilities and help others utilize it. So people like you, sorry, what's your name? Sandes. So people like Sandes can actually use it to amplify their own capacity and scale across hundreds more clients globally. And that's the great thing about this. Another one is on the, any questions about the video side? I recommend trying it out in Gemini VO3. Another one is on the image side. This is Nano Banana. So I've published a few Nordic thrillers, and I had really boring book covers before. But a couple of weeks ago, what I did was I just went into Nano Banana, which is the new Google Gemini image generator. I said, create me an image of a female Danish assassin in her 50s. And then that came out. I didn't change it. That came out. I uploaded it to Canva, and I just put a Danish flag and a picture of Nyholm on the background, and I did the same with the one in the middle. I said I wanted a picture of a female Finnish hunter in the snowy forest. Got that. And the other one was I just wanted a lady driving a powerboat through a wind farm, and I got that. And actually, since I uploaded all of these new covers to Amazon, to where I publish my books, the sales just went like that. Because I had, you know, and it was all down to a bit of marketing. So, you know, these kind of things, they do work. And of course, that is free. Actually, now I want to give you any questions about any of that kind of media stuff. Okay, I will be signing books at the end of this, by the way. I need to put this up here because I have to do a demo now. You asked Marit about YouTube channels. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drop into YouTube. So this is these are just some of the kind of crazy AI. If I take one of this one of these videos and say, if I say copy this video, I don't want to watch all of these videos. I want to find out a lot of the time just what the key content is. So what I'll do is copy the URL often, and then I'll just go into Google Notebook LM. Who uses Notebook LM here? Yeah. I really recommend you use this. It's free and it's the most incredible tool. So if I create a new notebook, and then what it does is it allows me to put all of these different sources in. I have it connected to my Google Drive, but you can put in YouTube videos and websites and things. So if I put in that video URL, watch what happens. I'll move this. So now what it's done is analyzed the video, and now what I could do is I could maybe create a mind map, and I could, I'll show you the mind map first. Okay, so now all of a sudden we've got a mind map which is analyzing the content of that YouTube video. So I can open it up and see what kind of things they're talking about, which is immediately very visual and very powerful. And if I was to click on, any one of these, it would take me back to the precise point in the transcript, in the source that it's talking about. So all of a sudden, you've got this vast library of data and insights in YouTube that you can now tap into. And of course, you can copy this and you could put it into ChatGPT, or you could do something else that's very interesting. And I'll show you, for example, if I go to the studio here, it also allows me to create videos. So I could actually create a video of that video. So for example, let's say, just give me a short summary. And let's maybe say we want it in Finnish. We don't want it in English. Okay. This might take a while, so we'll come back. It's cooking the video now, so we'll come back to that in a minute. The other thing we could also create a podcast. That's just audio, obviously, but we can also make reports. So all of a sudden, we're turning that video into some really interesting content. Let's try. What should we do? Let's create a blog post of it. Let's just say we want again Finnish. Let's go down there. And of course, I think it's 80 languages now this supports. Let's just say, just a high-level summary. I will just take this one actually, and then generate a blog. That should be a bit faster. And the other kind of reports I could create in here would be summary documentation. If I get a high-level briefing document. And again, what I can also do is I could bring in other pieces of research. So I could go into Google Gemini, or I could go into ChatGPT and bring in other pieces of content and paste that in here. So this is like a fantastic kind of set of capabilities. What I'm going to do is actually, while these are cooking, I'm going to come back to this one in a minute. Let's go back to the presentation. Any questions on Google Notebook LM, by the way? Okay. I really recommend you start playing around with this. The next one I would say that's very useful is analyzing external reports. Is it?
You're not on presentation mode.
Ah, okay, sorry. Did it? I got so many things going on here. Okay. So another good thing that this Google Notebook is useful for is analyzing external data. So did anyone see that recent report by McKinsey on the state of growth in Finland? Some of you might have, yeah? So what we could do, for example, if I go out here and if I create another Notebook LM, and then I'll switch accounts, and then I will say Okay, let's upload that McKinsey report. Oops. Wait a minute. Let me cancel this. Because I have it here. I have the McKinsey report here. If I just upload it here, it's going to read the source. I could also have lots of other sources here. But then what I can of course do is start analyzing what McKinsey is saying about growth in Finland. I can create a mind map, I could create a video, I could do all kinds of other reports as well. But then what I can do is start exporting this analysis. So let's just have a look at the mind map first. So this is the analysis of the McKinsey report. So it's broken it down into some high-level economic blah, blah, blah. But then what it's also doing is talking about some of the challenges. The big corporations, they're not investing enough in R&D, or they're spending all their profits on share buybacks and things like that. But again, what you can immediately start doing is drilling down. And this saves you time, and it saves you, cost of analysis, and you can start making decisions a lot faster. So I would say that Google Notebook LM is probably one of the most powerful tools that's actually ever been invented. Because, if you think about what you have access to on the internet, on websites, on YouTube, all of this, on your Google Drive, which you can connect to, it's incredibly powerful. Let's just go back to this other one. Where is it?
Patrick,
Yes.
is there any paid version, or is it completely free?
This is completely free. Yeah.
I have to say that this is
It's a game changer.
My competitors talk about this because we are asiantuntija. Is it specialized? We specialize on something. So, like AI cannot make you a specialist, but if you are a specialist, it makes you a super specialist. So it's really makes the competition tough, because I can read research reports of tens of pages and just absorb the information, and then another one, and then another one.
So here we have yeah, exactly. And you can jump back and forward between this and say ChatGPT or Claude and copy paste and add things. So here's the blog we kind of created, and I'll leave it up to my Finnish colleagues to tell me whether it's any good or not. But it of course, what we could then do is maybe say, oh, why don't we actually take that into, say, ChatGPT and ask it to analyze it. Another thing that I found works really well is if you use Google Notebook LM together with Claude. Does anyone use Claude? Yeah, Claude's really good at making dashboards, as well as obviously doing coding and research and things. So what I do is, what we could do is say, upload that, where is it? Hubpanostamo. If I upload the McKinsey report into Claude and then say, make an interactive dashboard. Let's see what happens. Okay. We'll come back to that one in a minute, and let's go back and see if that video is ready yet. So again, this is just how we're working in our company, whether we're working internally, or whether we're working in clients' workshops or doing some scoping for investors. Let me just see if this video is ready yet. No, it's still cooking. The videos take a little bit longer, but they're worth waiting for. I'll show you in a minute. And now Claude, what Claude is doing is actually generating the code to create the dashboard of the McKinsey report. So we can just leave that kind of cooking while it goes as well. I'll go back to the presentation, and then we'll circle back onto those ones as well in a minute. Let me go back onto full screen. What other use cases was I going to talk? Oh yeah, I was going to talk. Anyone from Kuopio Health here? I thought I would embarrass them, because my company is also part of Kuopio Health. So Aki Grön and yeah, Maria Teto, she's not here either, so I can do this. So for example, what we could do would be, what I did was I went on to Kuopio Health website and I asked ChatGPT to get me all the URLs for Kuopio Health companies in that ecosystem. So now what I could do, for example, would be just to copy all of those, and this is like a massive time saver. I could copy all of those URLs from, I'll just show you, Kuopio Health. There we go. So it's basically gone in and just got me all of the websites for this. Then if I open up another Google Notebook LM, and I change the account, and now this is getting in the way, sorry. If I create a new notebook, and then what I do is I say paste in text, and then I just copy in all of those URLs. Oh, no. Yeah, let's see if this works. Okay, that didn't work. Let me do it this way, sorry. Add, discover. I would say add these ones. See if that works. This worked yesterday when I tried it. Okay, now it's asking me if I want to bring in all of these different sources that it's discovered, but it hasn't actually picked up all of the ones. So what I'm going to do is go back to the one I did yesterday, which I think it was this one. Oh no, sorry. This always happens when you do a demo, doesn't it? I'm going to just add these again. Discover sources. So once they're in, what I can then start doing is actually generating mind maps and generating reports and doing all kinds of interesting discovery around that. And of course it hasn't worked, but it usually works. It should bring in all of these websites. Yeah.
General question.
Yeah.
Please continue. I'm coming.
Right. I use constantly AI, mostly ChatGPT and some others. Do a lot of surveys, researches, and so process the data. What bothers is this hallucination? So that I have to go through then quite a lot of those, then the links where the data is from,
Yeah.
and then check myself
Yeah.
as a senior or some kind of whatever, so that check that it's a fact.
Yeah.
So now, what to do about that? Do you have, of course, I do a lot of prompting and then discuss with an AI and then remember to do this and are you really sure, and then go to the details and whatever, give an examples and whatever, and let's check this and that. But still, you have to do a lot of work to check that there ain't no hallucinating if I'm going to publish something
Yeah.
or tell something to the customers.
Yeah.
How to get rid of that?
Well, I don't know how you get rid of it immediately. I mean, these things are constantly getting better. So, like a year ago, hallucinations was really bad. But now we're getting citations, so at least we can check now. But I'm sure that you'd be able to kind of create an agent that can actually go back and check whether it's valid. So you could probably put something in there, but I don't know how to do that. But I think it's going to continue to get better. Yeah, you've got some comments here.
Yeah, about this. For my text, I use Perplexity. I use Perplexity for my text. So I don't know, Patrick, if you have noticed that some programs or AIs, they use or they have less hallucination because of the sources they provide.
Yeah.
So I use different tools for different tasks. And for academic writing, there are their own programs, and then this Perplexity I can recommend.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think it's going to continue to get better, but it's a challenge. I just want to show you one more thing on this, actually, this Notebook LM. Any more questions about this? Because if you, regardless of the job that you're doing, whether you're in different functions or you're doing research, whatever, this is a really powerful, like, time saver, and, you know, it creates a lot more capacity in your organization, and then you can go back and forward, of course. I'm just waiting for this report to finish because I wanted to show you something interesting. Has anyone here used Gamma? Use Gamma? Yeah, Gamma is like this auto-generating AI PowerPoint killer. So I'll just quickly show you some example here. So if I took, for example, this report, which is a summary of the McKinsey analysis, let's just grab that text. And then if I go into say Gamma, we use this a lot with clients. And if I just paste in that text and then ask it to create a presentation based on that text and summarize it, watch what happens. Okay, let's say, are you good with this? It's actually only going to structure this on 2 cards, so it might be a bit busy, but it's a very, very powerful kind of tool. And then what you can do is you can go in afterwards and you can start editing it. You can export it to PowerPoint or get it into Google Slides or whatever. But it's incredibly fast, obviously, and it saves a lot of hassle and, you know, spending days trying to get the fonts right and all these kind of things. So we use this combined with Notebook, combined with Grok and Claude and all of these different kinds of things to just accelerate what we're doing. So I really recommend, and you can get a free Gamma account. So I think you can like create five of these a month. I'd pay for the, I think it's about 15 or 20 euro a month for this because we use it so much. But you can also have lots of different templates. So anyway, that's very interesting. Let me just go back and see if the video is being created yet. It's still generating a video. Okay, I'm going to go back to the presentation because we're actually running out of time. And then let's go on to the next one. Has anyone used Opal? Opal's this new app creator. I've only actually started playing with this, so I don't know if this is going to work today, but I'm going to take a risk. If I go to Opal, which is from Google, and the only way to get access to this actually is through a US VPN at the moment because it's not available in the EU, but we can of course get around that. So for example, if I was to say, I want to create a basic app, and it is pretty basic at the moment. If I said something like an app that tracks the progress of startups through, and let's just see what happens. Okay. So again, you know, a year ago or 6 months ago, we would have to, I mean, this is great for prototyping. It doesn't necessarily create a fully functioning app, but a year or so ago, we'd be, you know, sitting in lots of workshops. We've been paying other companies to actually come up with ideas even before we get to design something. But now all of a sudden what we can do is actually start generating something. It's not working, sorry. So these kind of tools, when you start actually combining them together, that's when they get really powerful. So on their own, individually, they're really powerful, but then when you actually start leveraging it together, and I don't know why this is not. Okay. it's not supported. Let me just show you what I did earlier, because I always come prepared in case this happens. So actually I created this one earlier, and I typed in exactly the same prompt. And then what it does is it creates all the processes and the flows. So here on the right-hand side here, what you have is this kind of accelerator. So it's basically created a mini prototype. And then it asks you questions. So, you know, what's the current startup's progress? So I could say created, let's just say they've done a business model canvas, pretty basic. Okay, let's just put none. Outline your Excel goals, I don't know, MVP, that'll do. Okay, now it's analyzing the performance, and obviously you would have some metrics, key kind of performance indicators that the accelerator is measuring against. But it should come up with a kind of summary report. This could be something interesting for you to kind of play with, for example. Yeah, so what it's done is it's kind of like summarized current status of that startup, and you could configure it to input multiple startups. And then it's got a console. What does that do? Okay, yeah, so it's got key descriptions and all of this kind of stuff. So, I mean, imagine the ability just to put a single prompt in and have this kind of capability for testing out new ideas. That's pretty powerful stuff. Instead of all of these PowerPoints and, you know, Excels and all kinds of other stuff. What is here? Okay, so I just want to demonstrate that because I've just got access to it and it's kind of really interesting. But it's also going to allow us to do some very interesting things with clients.
Hey, do you know when they are going to launch this in Europe?
That's a really good question. And honestly, I don't know the answer. But I always just get around this with the VPN. Yeah. Let me just go back to the presentation because I'm almost actually at the end. What else was I going to show? Oh yeah, has anyone tried this? This is a really powerful way of actually analyzing competitors' capabilities. So if I go back into the, I just picked up this this water, because I work with some water companies, so I just picked up this this company's website in the UK. So if I took a screenshot of this and then I went in and said, let's use ChatGPT for this. ChatGPT. Okay, and then I said,
Patrick, the presentation is still on the screen.
that's weird. Okay. Hold on. How do I get out of that? Okay, is that better? Yeah. If I go back into ChatGPT and then I just add that image that I just took, this one, and then say, okay, so hopefully that's the right reverse osmosis. Yeah. So again, what you can now do is you can, like, you could be walking past you could be using a whiteboard, you could be taking a picture of some website that you've kind of scoped out, or you could be a plumber out at someone's house trying to fix something and there's a problem, so you want to take a screenshot with your camera of it and ask ChatGPT what this is, and then that could then send something to the CRM system that says you need to order this kind of part for this person. So there are just so many different applications for this kind of visual image recognition that you can build into your workflows as well. So, and if this is available, obviously you can do this in Claude or in Grok or in Gemini as well as ChatGPT. And this is just, of course, scratching the surface of what we can do with these tools. Has anyone tried this yet? Yeah, you do it, you guys. I just want to go back and see if this video has finished now. Okay, we have a video. Let's give it a go. Put it on full screen.
No niin, tänään me pureudutaan tosi yllättävän taloudelliseen haasteeseen. Ja tämä haaste piilee itse asiassa yhden, maailman onnellisimmaksi kutsutun maan pinnan alla. Tämä otsikko on varmasti ihan kaikille tuttu. Suomi on jälleen kerran ja nyt siis jo 800 vuotta putkeen maailman onnellisin maa. Se maalaa kuvan todella vakasta ja menestyvästä maasta. Mutta entä jos mä kertoisin, että tämän onnellisuuden julkisivun takana onkin
I'll stop it, but you get the point. And the great thing about this is when you're creating the video, you go in and you actually tell it what you want it to talk about. So you can narrow or you can expand the focus that you want it to talk about. And of course, then you can do it in any language. You can download it. So for example, what we've been doing for our circle, if I just show you this quickly. Yeah, I'm a human. Okay, so if I take you into our circle, what we've been doing is using this Google Notebook LM to create lots of courses. So instead of, recording the video of someone, you just put in actually the content of the course and get Notebook LM to actually create the course. So for example, let's just start. Yeah. Oops.
For years, the story around...
And so we created about 25 courses for our SME community in a couple of days. And of course, it was based on our own expertise and insights, plus what we brought in from wherever research or companies that we were looking into. But again, this is an incredible amplifier. It's also, if anyone's in the training business, it's either an opportunity or a huge risk for you. Yeah, but it's incredibly powerful what you can do. So again, everything came out of this Google Notebook LM. You just put in the sources that you want: YouTube videos, documents, research papers, PDFs, whatever, websites, and then.
How long was the video that it generated?
It was about 6 minutes.
6 minutes. Did you give any time frame for it, or was it automatically?
No, I could have said make it like 2 minutes or something, but then what I do is I take it into Canva and then cut it, or put some other fancy things over it as well.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah. Actually, that was the last of the kind of hands-on demo. So, but it's incredible what you can do. Yes.
What was the input when you created
The input.
courses?
Yeah, the input was basically. Let me go try and find that. Hang on. Where did I do? Okay. First principle thinking. First, for some of them, it's been a combination of YouTube video and also a blog post that I made. So one thing I found is that I made like a lot of blogs on LinkedIn, and you just forget about them. And then what I thought was, shit, this is actually useful stuff that I could then put into a notebook, and then it creates a video out of it, or then it creates a podcast. Or so you can put your website in there and then look at your own website from a very different angle. So all of a sudden, you have one source, which could be a podcast or a blog post that you've written. You can turn it into 7 sources. And now you can also ask Gemini to create a new blog every week based on the original source, but with new insights from the internet. So all of a sudden, if you've got a great idea, you can amplify and magnify, expand on that. And that's really powerful. And that's why now is a great time to be in an SME or a startup, for example, because now all of a sudden we don't have these kind of financial constraints. If you're in a corporate, you've still got all of this friction and politics and all that kind of stuff to worry about. But if you're in an SME, 10 people or 200 people, or if you're in a startup, or if you're running the accelerator, entrepreneur, it's a fantastic time. And in a year's time, we have 10 times the capabilities of this with simulation and world engines and everything. So, you know, yeah.
How does that change, in your opinion, the educational institutions? We've got students here, and I guess that now they will look at our lecturers with different eyes. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I think, because my wife works for UEF, and so she's been involved in these kind of things, and I think the whole thing will have to be reimagined, but also in a positive way. What can we now do to change the whole experience, not just for the student, but also for the professors or lecturers and the whole structure of the university? That's going to have to happen. But now we can experiment in kind of real time, I think. That's the key. And I know UEF is, you know, you've been quite advanced. I think UEF and Jyväskylä University actually got into this quite early. But of course, the capabilities are accelerating all the time. The big risk, I would say, is business schools. So if you think about business schools that charge like 50,000 euro, or even the expensive ones, 100,000 euro for a 2-year MBA, well, you could download all of the course structure of all of those and create your own MBA and have it available immediately. So I think the business schools are the ones that are going to be disrupted the most, because they have a big attack surface. There's a big attack surface on them, and they make a lot of money, and you could have entrepreneurs coming in and disrupting that. That's what I would do. So, yeah. Yes?
I was having a thought. If it's so easy to make I'm sorry. Yeah, if it's so easy to make these courses or videos, and it's the same, it's as easy to, from the receiving end, to not watch them, but say to ChatGPT, analyze them, summarize them, and make this task for me.
Yeah.
How do you see this is gonna completely disrupt what now we are doing? Because I think the whole idea needs to change.
Yeah.
It just, we are creating so much information, data, that it's overwhelming at the moment.
Yeah. It's going to get worse, but it might also get better and more interesting, because maybe we start, well, first of all, on a language perspective, we're going to have universal translators. So international people who don't speak the same language are going to be able to interact dynamically very, very quickly. Has anyone seen the new Google Translate, by the way? What it does now is, you can divide the screen on the phone in half. So my half could be English, and the other half could be Finnish or Spanish. And I speak into it and say, you know, please can you explain that function to me? And then the text will be shown upside down, so the other person will be able to see the text in their own language, and then it will, when they speak, it will. So these kind of capabilities are going to hopefully also bring us together. But I agree with you, we're going to be creating so much new stuff, but also a lot of crap. So that's going to be a challenge. But I think there's also going to be lots of new types of interfaces. So we're going to see holographics coming in very, very quickly, and haptics. So our ability to manipulate and show things in the air, which is going to get very interesting as well. So maybe that brings people together, and we have people sitting on airplanes waving and all this kind of stuff. I don't know. Yeah.
Sorry, just another question is how you that know this a lot better than probably any of us, how do you see we bring value as humans into this new phase?
I think it's how you use it and what you use the outputs with to try and make things better and to try and help move things along faster. And also, I think what this does is it gives more people the opportunity to create things. But in your case, it also disrupts your business as well. So it depends where you are. On the one hand, in 1 year's time, people will be able to create using their voice, they'll be able to create a CRM system end to end without any code. And you can already kind of prototype that kind of thing as well. So people who have no skills in something, in any language, will be able to create new things. I think that will have a massive effect on venture capital and funding. Why would you need all of this funding and debt if you can just do this yourself? So that's going to be like a lot more interesting. But it really depends on where you are and your mindset as well.
But you cannot guess what's the...
Well, there's so many different situations. That's the challenge, really. Yeah. But you have to pick your own battle. You have to decide, okay, I can't do everything. I just have to try and, stay on top of this, and then work with people who maybe they have a different area of focus. Yeah. This lady was first, and then...
Thank you. As you were talking about improvement of our expertise, so we are talking about actually our advantages in the competition of the work market. So in that context, I'm really eager to understand if AI tools creates this IQ free and available to everyone, and also creativity is also is free. It means like our competition is going down. So in that case, what do you think, which kind of skills or advantages should we be focused on to be step ahead of this? Because it means like everyone who even has no the same expertise as we do can really be more efficient than we are in this market. So I mean, like, do you maybe guess what kind of advantages here can we really be focused on? Because now it means like all our IQ and creativity that our work market is based on is going like zero value.
Well, the other thing is that you can now use these same tools. Say you're an engineer, and say you wanted to get into making film. What you can use is these AI to ask, I have these skills, but I want to move into this direction. How would you do that? And it will actually give you a step-by-step kind of map of how to do that. And then you can go back and forward. So you're not restricted to your own area of expertise. Now you can, I'm not an AI guy. My brain is more around profit and loss and organization structures, but this stuff is so easy to manipulate that you can quickly run experiments on completely new areas. Can I just say, did you want to say something? Because I have one really good example for everyone. The city of Kuopio, there's a lot of, many of us probably live here. They have budget challenges, but imagine if the city of Kuopio, every function in the city organization and all of the services organizations had access to these kind of capabilities in terms of making decisions and doing things faster. Can you imagine how quickly that negative budget challenge would disappear? I bet if they actually run some workshops, this is an advertisement, I bet if they actually did something like that, then you could explore some interesting opportunities around, not saving costs, but actually increasing the capacity of that budget within the city. This gentleman was next.
Yeah, this was about the same question, because we have a company, we have 30 developers now, but yesterday I heard that now it's one developer with AI is same as 30 developers last year. This is the speed. And I'm sure that your coach next year, AI will be better coach than you. It cannot be win. It's a game but our IQ is not, we are not able to win this game in the end as a human. But this position in the what is the next, what we are going to do as a profession will be the key question. Sorry.
I mean, I have like similar type of question.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
Continue.
I just something just it's like a thought. like AI is doing everything better than human. Like whatever I'm thinking today, if I search in ChatGPT that what do you think about this topic, any topic, he come up with something very unique, and I get like surprised. So if we think about in this way, then what will be the future for humans in perspective of like job market or like our survival?
Yeah.
Like kind of same
I hope
question.
I don't have to answer that question. That's a challenge that we're all going to face, you know. Yeah.
So, like we use different kinds of AI for different purposes, ChatGPT, DeepSeeks, Gemini, etc., etc. So, as this moment, like we counsel and make some idea what AI do. AI can store our datas and make some reports and any kind of thing. So, in the other side of the world, a person can ask also the same idea, and AI can give the same tools for them. So it will be the risk for both parties, business and this kind of.
Yeah.
And what about this cyber security? If we are using lots of AIs and also some kind of email phishing or other kind of stuff, and it will like stack everything and stolen our data, stolen our ideas,
Yeah.
as well as, and also AI, as you know, it store data, and our data AI uses and give ideas according to our data. So I give an idea, counsel lots of AI and make an idea and share with them. What if my idea can be stolen, and this AI or ChatGPT tell another person with the same idea? Is it a bit risky or
I
not?
think there are different levels of security and guardrails you can get with the enterprise version of these tools. But one thing that all of these tools do is they change the geography of how we do work. So, for example, now it brings down the barrier for coding and development. So, you know, before in previous years, you might have outsourced software development and operations to another country, but now all of a sudden you don't necessarily need to do that. Or you can decide to use developers in Chile or in India or in Tallinn or in, you know, Pori, it doesn't matter because of these capabilities. Or you can just have all of your development in Kuopio because of the cost is just, you know, working in our favor. So you've got this huge opportunity as well. So there are pros and cons to everything. R&D is like R&D and scientific research and spinning out new startups from the universities, robotics and building services on top of robotics, for example. I mean, that's a fantastic place to be. And you have these different clusters also around Pohjois-Savo area where you have water clusters and you have the health clusters, for example, energy clusters, where you have a combination of physical technologies and also software technologies on top of that, and data, of course. So, you know, there's massive opportunity there. And also because of this, the amount of funding you need for that is reducing all of the time. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I also have just a comment and a question.
Yeah.
On the comment, I think as answering to questions which were asked here, I do believe that as humans, one of our challenge that we are supposed to have is to upgrade every day. So if you take yourself back, I wasn't there, but back in the age where only horses were used for transport and everything else, things were slow, I believe, and people were able to carry their luggage and other people in the slow speed, and they were scared when the cars were being introduced. How are we going to manage this? They will take our jobs, but here we are, and I believe we are all fine, as long as some people were able to go along with the speed. Yeah, but the question I have is on the point of authenticity. I've seen some comments nowadays that if somebody had put a very beautiful comment or post, some people will say, he just used ChatGPT. So, yeah, we don't really count it that much. What is your comment on this one?
Yeah, if someone just outsources everything to ChatGPT and they don't bring any value to it, then what's the point? I would say. But hopefully you're also leveling up and doing something on some value on top of that. Yeah, if someone, say there's an agent and it's just creating ChatGPT blog posts all the time, no one's going to read that because it's going to be, you know, unless there's a new generation coming through that actually gets all of their news and their insights from agents that are creating this new content. Like you talked about, there's going to be all this new stuff. That's possible. And, you know, auto-generating all of these videos, for example. You know, if we're going to get flooded with this kind of stuff soon, you know, we're going to have the ability to create whole movies that we can actually interact with. So what's that going to do to Netflix and, you know, all these kind of things? That's going to start getting very interesting very quickly. So it's not just text, it's also video, audio, everything else. Yeah.
I'm not worried. I hear there are kind of scientists here. It looks like it here. But like the thing that I give as a specialist is like my clients are really interested about what's inside my head. So the difference is that it doesn't sound like the AI has made it. I give that something extra that but they're said that they want to pay me for. So I don't think my clients are satisfied with the information that also AI could produce. They want the way I tell it, and they want the something extra that my mind creates on top of it. But considering the competition, so I have to be able to combine these two to keep up with the competition. Yeah. That's what I think.
Exactly. And yeah, Anil, I know you work with a lot of business leaders and boards, and so it's also getting them to understand, you know, how do they need to start thinking about their organization and thinking about not using this to cut costs, but to amplify their employees and grow the team capabilities. Yeah.
Yeah, I strongly agree with all the opinions and can support it. Only one thing that is really bothering my mind, that this extra thing, it's not really IQ, it's not really our creativity. This extra thing that we give each other, I think it's our human being support to each other. So maybe I have a guess that maybe the next generation of competition on the work market is our soft skills and what can we really service each other. Definitely. I think this one. And AI will never, at least for the upcoming 5 years, will not be able to somehow replace it, I think.
Unless you hook your head up to a chip, you know, one of these new kind of neural networks.
Well, from the neuroscience,
you have a lot of business there.
From the neuroscience point of view, it's only partly able. So I don't believe into fully replacement. It's not almost impossible. Soft skills, EQ, not IQ. EQ, because IQ and creativity is not almost zero value in our generation already. So, like let's say, not really smart people are able to be creative now, and very efficient in giving information and tools. Very efficient. You don't have to be developer. You don't have to be super creative. But it was our generation. We put it so much effort into it, you know, to bring the value in the society. And now we're on a level that we don't know how to continue to be on the same competition level with young people.
I will say one thing. I'm on a different generation to you, obviously.
Of course, but
there are also people who before they had a lot of creativity in their head, but they could not get it out. But now they can get it out. Now they can share it, because before they had to go through an interface of coding or you know, using special tools or whatever, but now they can use their voice to get their ideas out and
Exactly.
actually share what they can do.
Yeah,
So
I
that's,
agree with you.
you know, that's
I agree
another
with you.
side.
Maybe only.
I think we're running out of time actually, and coffee's probably getting cold. So I want to thank you very much for a
Thank you.
chat, and I'll be around.